So, hello guys, hello again. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching this update from, and welcome again. So, before anything, I do sincerely apologize for the bad audio in my last video. Honestly, I published that idea and I never ever checked the audio. I just assumed everything was working, but I sincerely apologize for that. So I just want to recap and probably go over what we discussed in the morning or what I was saying in the morning for those who didn't actually make out the audio. So looking at the DXY, and this is the weekly chart for the DXY, we can see that price has been sandwiched between these two levels. We do have that resistance and we do have that support. I was saying that I was expecting some moves to the downside based on what we are seeing or based on the rejection that we saw from that resistance level. All right. So if we go to the daily, if we go to the daily, this is what we have. This is the bullish leg. Remember, the weekly is bearish, right? We broke structure to the downside at that level. We pulled back all the way into the weekly extreme zone. So I was just saying now from here, it is possible that we see the continuation moves to the downside. Now, going on to the daily, we can see that the daily is bullish, and we understand why. The daily switched bullish to facilitate that weekly pullback. So this is the level that we have where we have that weekly supply zone. So from here, it is possible that we see a continuation move to the downside, but it is important to note where price is at. Price is at a daily decisional demand zone. So from here, it is possible that we see the market pulling back to come and fill some of these imbalances. All right, it is possible that we see that move to the upside. But what will tell us or what will give us confidence? Number one, uh, what will give us confidence that that pullback or that movement to the upside has already begun is when we see the fractal protected high being taken out. That is the true test, or that is the true signal that we need to be able to get into the long trades for the DXY. But until then, we just stay calm and collected. But I do like these moves. You can see when we first approached our daily decisional zone, what happened? We got that rejection. We tested it out again, and I'm not really a fan of these moves where ideally when we test the demand zone or a supply zone, what we want to see is a move to the upside right away. I don't like when a demand or supply zone is tested, then the market just stalls, taps into it again. Um, it doesn't give. So these I would classify these actually as a mitigated zone, and I'll show you. I think it's on GU. I'll show you what I mean by that. So this is mitigated. For me, these zones do not hold a lot of power. All right. So now from here, we may expect to see, and this is the true test that, or the true signal that we are moving to the upside. If we move to the 4 hours, um, so this is the price action on the 4 hours. We do have this extreme zone. This is the tapping of that daily demand zone. We haven't tapped the 4 hours extreme zone or the refined, but that zone, the daily and the weekly, is right here. So I do want to see the market coming into this extreme zone and then buying from there. So this is the area that I'll be looking to sell the DXY, which is just in the continuation of the fractal structure, which is bearish. Sorry for that. So now moving on to gold. You can see gold, and I'm actually on a trade right now on gold. I did buy, but let's just break it down. So if we move to the weekly, you can see we did close bullish last week, and I did mention these in that morning. If you are reading some of these notes, I did mention that weekly is bullish. We've come to a weekly extreme zone, a weekly extreme demand zone. So from here, it is possible that we see continuation moves to the upside. Knowing that we are looking for bullish continuation moves, then the next question becomes, where are we buying from? All right, where are we buying from? But the true, let me just delete that. But the true signal or confirmation that this bullish move will continue is if we break, and not just breaking and closing above these fractal protected high. When you close and when you break and close, that just confirms to us that this is not a fake out. All right. So if we move to the daily, let's see what is going on the daily. So in that morning video, I did mention that the key levels that we should be watching out for would be these. We do have that resistance, and we do have this other level right there. So if we pulled back all the way to these some of these levels, now that would be the ideal. But this was the true, not the true, but this was the levels that I was looking at. And again, I'll just show you on the 15 minutes what I mean by that. The other hurdle or the other factor that many people are looking at and kind of projecting that we may get that move to the downside, was the fact that this was a daily supply zone. All right, we had a daily supply zone right there, but as you can see, price has just broken through. So again, what will give us more confidence to trade or to look for bullish continuation moves is if we break and close above this daily high. If we don't and we close below, I'll be a little bit hesitant to look for continuation moves to the upside. Now if we move to 15 minutes, let's just go to 15 minutes so that I can show you what I mean by that. You looking at the 15 minutes, you can see that the 15 minutes is actually bullish. So this is where we broke structure to the upside. This is where we have our internal structure. I can just zoom in to show you. This is where we have that internal structure, and we have our demand zone right there. So I saw the market coming in. I think I did highlight that in that morning video. I saw price coming in. We did get that tapping, and then you can see the reaction that we got. I wasn't so sure about this extreme or this zone for the simple reason that I just gave you. I like to see my zones tapping just once and then moving. All right. So we did come in, tap into that zone, but then again, you see the structure is bullish. The structure is bullish on the 15 minutes. So this zone was supposed to hold. This was the last zone that was supposed to hold if we're gonna have those continuation moves to the upside. Okay, so this zone must hold. That is, it's like the last resort, right? So this zone must hold. So I did see market coming in, or price coming in, tapping into that demand zone, and then this is the reaction that got the first confidence or the first signal, or yeah, the first confluence that I needed to see is us actually breaking and closing above that high. All right, breaking and closing above that level, which of course we did. So that at least gave me, because this was the last structural high that we had for gold. So the moment we broke and closed above that level. That gave me a bit more confidence that this level or this zone may hold. So I did get into a trade right here because these were the levels that I was looking at, the daily and the weekly. I did FOMO in, got in early, got stopped out. No, actually, I got in early, but then I started to see the reversal happening. Got out with just a little profit, got in again with this move. Now I was stopped out, and then eventually I did place a buy stop order right around this level, and then you can see what's happening. I'm actually in this trade right now. It's I'm trailing my stop loss, and I think I'm about some few dollars in profit. Okay, so that was the 15 minutes, basically just following the internal structure of 15 minutes. As long as these laws be and right now I should graduate this. This is the low, this is the 15 minutes protected low, and this is now our range. All right, this is the range that we'll be working with. As long as that bullish structure is respected, we are looking to trade gold to the upside. So let's go to GBPUSD first. GBPUSD on the weekly, you can see what's going on with GBPUSD. So I did mention in the morning that I'm not looking to sell GBPUSD for the simple reason of how we closed last week. You can see we have that. We did try to push to the downside, but then again, the market rejected those lower prices, and then this is the rejection candle that we got. So I knew GBPUSD we will be buying. So I did mention in my notes that the daily structure is not well defined. So let's just skip that and go to 4 hours, even for the sake of time. I don't want to take this. I don't want to make this video a long one. So this, I just wanted to explain this concept. So this was the zone that so many people are looking at and betting on it that it's gonna hold. But then you can see we did tap into it once, and then we got that reaction. It never broke any structure. All right, it never broke any structure. So that already is a red flag for me, and that is how I categorize my zones and as mitigated or unmitigated. So if a zone has a mitigated that label, it just means that I'm not confident with that zone. All right. So we did tap into it once. Price never went anywhere. We did tap into it a second time. This is the reaction that we got, and then you can see the market actually broken and tapping into the extreme zone. So from this zone, we are tapping it for the first time. So it is possible, and actually this is the fractal structure or the fractal zone. You can see that. Sorry. So this is the fractal zone or the refined zone. So from here, it is possible that we see some moves to the downside. So the real test or the real confirmation signal that I'm waiting to trade GBPUSD to the downside would be a break and close below this fractal protected low. If we go to the 15 minutes, 15 minutes, it's quite clear. I would have expected, or I would have wanted rather, price to come to some of these levels, but it never did. So so from here until we get a close below that, I'd be looking to buy GBPUSD. So from what levels? There's this level that we are seeing here. So there's that level right there. Do we have another level? Probably this one, which is the extreme mitigated. All right. So this is the extreme mitigated zone, or probably this is the last unmitigated zone, but I'd like to cover the lows. Okay, so that is the other zone, which by the way has already been mitigated. So let's just remain with the most extreme, which is that one right there. So as long as we don't break and close below this level, I'm just looking to buy GBPUSD. So let's go to EURUSD as the last pair. EURUSD is just ranging between this high and this low. If we start our analysis of the weekly, this is what we have. I what DXY, we are trading, or the market or price has come to a weekly decisional zone. So from this zone, you can see the reaction that we got, a rejection of that level. So from here, we may start to see that downward pressure coming in. Again, the Euro USD is quite bearish. This is where we had that swing trend change. We were bullish, but then again, the market broke structure to the downside, so we are bearish. So if we go to the daily, we do have that trend line. We do have that trend line. We broke and closed above that. I did mention that this is the demand, or the demand, because I'm following the fractal structure of the daily. So this is the demand that I would actually want to see fail for me to even consider selling this market. It is quite bullish, all right? Bullish in the sense that we have that pullback, right? And the pullback may come all the way to fill some of these imbalances. If we go to the 4 hours, this is the demand that I told you I would want to see it failing before considering some moves to the downside, right? So let's wait to see how the market interacts with this trend line. If we get the confirmation to sell, we're definitely gonna sell. If we get confirmation to buy, definitely we're gonna buy. So let's just follow the 15 minutes internal structure, or the 15 minutes, even the swing structure. Let's just follow that structure to see if we get an opportunity right around that level or that level. So that is my analysis, my daily analysis. Let's wait to see what actually happens. Thank you.